Hey, Soldier7 here, and this video I wanted to talk about something that I didn't know if I was ever going to talk about, but I guess I am going to talk about, even though I don't know if it's either too early or maybe a little late for it, but I'll get into it. But the question is, for this video, is that does Syphon Filter have a future? And what I mean by that is, does the franchise, not just the game, but does the franchise? Now, granted, I'll be honest with you, I was not really big on Syphon Filter growing up. I remember seeing front covers of it, whether if it was back in the 90s or 2000s, even though I think the first game was released in 1999. I remember seeing the front covers for it and some of the stuff for it, and I thought it looked cool and everything, but for some reason it just never persuaded me enough to get them, or maybe even rent them, or whatever, back in the day. But I finally did try the franchise for the first time not too long ago. I mean, it started just a few years ago when the games started being re-released on the PlayStation Classics on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And I think just about every one of the games from the trilogy was released except for one. And like I said, even though I'd never played any of the games before, but I have to say, after playing the games that were released on the PlayStation Classic selection for PS4, I gotta say, even though the games were not flawless, but granted, I must say, after playing them, I have to say, I was seriously impressed. I'm seriously impressed. I think that this was an interesting franchise, and a part of me is now starting to wonder, yeah, why didn't I try these games out, long ago? And yeah, good enough to where I was willing to make a video about this, because this felt like a game that was pretty interesting. Granted, it had its flaws. There were certain things I may not have liked about it. I mean, the franchise, or just certain parts of, or just certain games. Well, I mean, like certain parts of certain games that I didn't like about. But yeah, I think it had an interesting storyline, interesting gameplay, interesting ideas and so forth and whatnot. I mean, frick, this seems like a game you can play while you're having a spaghetti dinner. I don't know why I just said that, but felt like saying that. But yeah, the question is does this game, or does this franchise have a future? Or does it still have a future? Because if I'm not mistaken, the most recent game was released in 2007, which was quite some time. And there hasn't really been anything for it since. I mean, nothing has really been done with the franchise since, except be released on the PlayStation Classics, which is where I tried them all for the first time, except for one, which was not released on the PlayStation Classics. But yeah, I have seen, but after playing these, I did go and look at some articles. Some were talking about a possible, some articles and even some videos were talking about like the possibility of a reboot or a remake, or maybe even like a possible sequel or whatnot. I don't know if that's true or not, but me personally, I hope that is true, because me personally, I feel like that this is a franchise that still has potential to do stuff and be something, and yeah, I think it's something that should be done. If you ask me, I would prefer a sequel, even though it's been a long time, but hey, I'm all for what if, because I see this as a franchise that, even though it's been, the last release was in 2007, the last game was released in 2007, I still think this is a franchise that still has potential to go anywhere now, even at this time. But yeah, I'm just curious what everyone else has to think, and yeah, the comments are open, and yeah, please do tell, what do you think? And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for right now. This is Soldier 7. Take care.